Jesus, come to me. Come to me, oh, come to me. Come to me, oh, come to me. I want only thee, only thee. I want only thee. Oh, my Jesus, come to me. Come, oh, come to me. Come, oh, come to me. Hello friends, Nayaswami Hriman here, and welcome to our weekday broadcast of unpublished writings of Paramhansa Yogananda. This is my third broadcast consecutive on the Beatitudes of Jesus, and I'm emphasizing the teachings of Jesus in the Gospel of Matthew, chapters 5, 6, and 7. I'm still on 5 with the Beatitudes, and I hope to finish those here today. So we ended in my last broadcast with Blessed are the Merciful, and so now we come to really, I think, the deepest and most rewarding and most promising of the Beatitudes. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. You know, in the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 18, he makes a statement, no man hath seen God at any time. Yogananda explains, well, this doesn't contrast or conflict with this beatitude, for they shall see God, because John was speaking of no man in the sense of human consciousness with two eyes, as it were, with human eyes. You know, when Jesus asked, whom do men say I am, only Peter said, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus' response to that was, no one has told you that. This was revealed by your intuition. And so the seeing of God isn't the seeing of a man with a beard or a human form. I mean, Christians speak of Jesus as the Son of God, and that has its place universally when understood more deeply. He wasn't necessarily the only Son of God through time and space, all history in this vast universe, but that he was a Son of God. As John said in that same first chapter, as many as received him, to them gave he the power to become the sons of God. This is our inheritance. This is our destiny. And so, in any case, just because Peter and others in time, and true disciples down through thousands of years who recognized Jesus as a Son of God, doesn't mean that there is no human form by which God partakes. But God is a spirit, as Jesus said elsewhere in the Gospels, and seeks those who worship him in spirit and in truth. God has no form, no name, beyond all form, beyond all name. And so these are not contradictory statements. Blessed are the pure of heart, for they shall see God. Now, one of the great blessings of the new dispensation that Yogananda brought to the world is that we can see God, experience God, in the stillness of meditation. That in fact in the consciousness of our very soul, which is made in the image, see God, image of God. We can experience God in an infinity of ways, but certainly there are 8 discernible aspects by which we can experience in the state of superconsciousness, which is the eternal nature of the soul as manifested in the creation. And those are, I've recited them before, peace, wisdom, power, meaning vitality, love, deep and expansive calmness, the sounds of God as thundering and lightning, the light of God, the jyoti, the spiritual eye, and the primordial bliss of spirit beyond creation. These 8 aspects are are the gifts of the Holy Spirit that we can experience in deep meditation. We can also have vision of Jesus or the Masters. We can have any number of an infinity of visions of subtler realities which are divine in their nature. But the great vision of God, as talked about by Thomas Aquinas, Teresa of Avila, St. John of the Cross, St. Francis, the vision of God is the vision of light and bliss beyond creation. So that, but that requires the purified heart. You know, I think of the never-ending story in which it says that it takes the innocent soul to save us from delusion. You know, that's the great warrior, you know, goes out and slays the dragon of delusion. And then I'm not going to get into Kundalini, which is a separate thing, but it takes that pure heart to see the truth that shall make us free. Okay. Sometimes it comes up whether or not the pure of heart, it's only about love. Love and wisdom are two sides of the same coin of God's consciousness. When God manifested the world, it's as if he separated himself into male and female and two dualities, perception and feeling. But that's another story for another time. Okay. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Like the merciful who will receive mercy, this one's not difficult to understand. But the deeper meaning, I'll just say briefly, is not that we go around making peace between people who are arguing, unless, if we can, great. But the peacemakers are those who are absorbed in the vibration of God in the form of peace, those who emanate the aura of peace, bring peace out into the world wherever they go. And people who are in tune with that feel that. I remember many stories of people coming into Yogananda's presence and feeling peaceful. Padma and I and others like us would come into the presence of our teacher, Swami Kriyananda, burning with questions. And we often couldn't remember what the questions were in his presence. So, peacelessness would be disharmonious words such as gossip and that kind of thing. Even speaking of negative things, Yogananda would warn his disciples. Okay, well, can I do persecution? I'm going to stretch this broadcast and finish with the Beatitudes. Blessed are they that are persecuted for righteous sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and say all manner of evil against you falsely, for my sake. Rejoice and be glad, for great is your reward in heaven, for so persecuted they the prophets which came before you. Well, I just want to say, Yogananda said that it doesn't mean you have to go off and get persecuted, to be a martyr, to achieve heaven, but to receive our trials and challenges and really the critique we receive with even-minded cheerfulness is one lesson. But don't mistake people who criticize you for having done something wrong as being persecuted for my sake. Accept your persecutions for your sake when you've done something, and internalize that and try to reform or make recompense or be better and so forth. Don't try to slough off your wrongdoing and be a martyr. Take the martyr complex, as it were. But nonetheless, I think of the life of Swami Kriyananda. Yogananda had all sorts of issues, people who persecuted and sued him and so forth. So that does come. As Swami Kriyananda would quote some cliche whose source I don't know, he'd say, no good deed goes unpunished. Anytime who sticks their head above water and declares the truth, as it were, not shouting it or trying to be a schmuck, but trying to help, let's say, will invariably find people who don't want to hear it. Our families sometimes resent the fact that we take up the spiritual path because it makes them look bad. Those critiques can't be helped. Okay, I need to finish here, and I thank you for watching, and we'll see you another time.